So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead, and welcome to another edition of Beer Mail here on BAOS. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bomb package from our good mates at Collective Arts out of Hamilton, Ontario. There it is. Look at that. I love their art. They don't mess around. Yes. Yeah, super stoked to get that. I find that really kind when breweries are doing that type of stuff. On top of the wonderful beers, they also sent this booklet. Basically, this is the summary. They have a series, multiple series every year of art. They work with local artists and put those artists on the can. One of our good friends who actually did my brother Notion, who's our engineer, and he does some of our photos. His album cover, which is out now, by the time we put this out, it'll be done. It's called Notion Island Volume 1. Go check that out, link in the description. So Brianne Burnell did this one right here. I can't see if that's focused, but that's the can art, which is on the Rhyme and Reason Pale Ale. So if you see that around, definitely cop that. I'm just super proud of her, so congrats, Brianne. I'll put the link to her Instagram as well in the description. She has some super cool abstract art, and I just really love to see that one of our friends has finally got on the can. She's been trying for like 8, what do you call them again? 8 series to try and get on, I believe. So she made it. Beautiful. All right, to the beers. So we got 4 bangers, and I'm super excited because I wanted to try these first 2. First is the IPA number 7. I think the last one I had was like 4, maybe 5. I missed a bunch of them. This one is a Southern Hemisphere IPA with, sorry I can't see, Citra and Nelson, which is super sick. Collective have a strong connection to my homeland of Australia. Shout out to Dan Johnson. He lived in Melbourne, and everybody I know there knows Dan because he lived there for a couple of years, worked heavy in the beer scene. They brought out Moondog from Melbourne up to Liquid Art this year in June. And they've been doing some collabs with Mr. West out in Footscray, which is the west side of Melbourne. And funnily enough as well, they did a huge Canadian tap takeover. They had Sawdust Collective, Merit, just fire-ass beers that I can't get here in Quebec, and they had them in Melbourne, so I told all the homies to go. I hope y'all didn't miss that. Next up, Surround Sound Double Dry Hopped IPA. I'm a huge fan of Collective's haze. This one sounds fantastic. Citra Simcoe Galaxy, cannot lose. Seen a few people post that. Looks bomb. Now this is something that's a little out of our wheelhouse here on BAOS. We've done one podcast with a cider company, and this is a Collective Arts cider. I don't know if I've had any of their stuff. So we don't usually review ciders. I don't know shit about them. But I think this is super sick because everything about it sounds like a beer. Can you see that? Yo, wow, look at that. That books, mate. Yo, super dope. So this is it's called Northern Spy. It's a barrel-aged Barrett cider with blueberries and rosemary, gluten-free. Mate, it's going to be fire. Luckily, Tiff is helping me with these tonight. Otherwise, this would be a multi-part video. And finally, we have this bad boy, Origin of Darkness, the 2018 collab stout. I don't know who it's a collab with. I actually just saw that on the other side of the label as I was posting it. Oh, Kex Brewing, K-E-X, which I assume might be the Icelandic brewery because this is bourbon barrel-aged stout with vanilla, Icelandic sea salt, and Omnom cocoa, and those last 2 ingredients could be from Iceland. Very cool. All right, let's get it going. Let's get it fucking going. Tiff? Yes. All right, IPA number 7. Looking forward to this one. So Collective have Collective have a 6 series of IPAs. Let's go pour it up here. Yos, you see that, yos. That they do with varying hop bills. And this is the 7th one. The best part about these is they're quite readily available for the most part. I think they have can releases and stuff at the brewery. But you can get them from most LCBOs, which I think is just so sick. And as well, like my boy Dan, shouts to Dan out in BC, is telling me about all these Collective beers he can get in Vancouver. And I'm like, dude, I'm like 6 hours drive away. I can't get anything. And man is out there getting all the beers. Look at that. There is just chunks of yeast, mate. That to me suggests a good double dry hopped IPA. So Southern Hemisphere, Nelson Sauvin and Citra. So I guess that's repping New Zealand right there. Nothing else to know. It says limited release, which is lit. 7.1%. All I'm gonna say is, mate, there you go. All right, get it in you. So this one pours nice and opaque, super tropical nose, nice creamy body as expected. Yeah, no bitterness. Yeah, it's fantastic. Jeez. The definitely got that tropical fruitiness from the Citra. The Nelson generally brings that sort of white wine, like Sauv Blanc kind of vibe in it. I'm not getting that too much here. I'm sure as it maybe warms, it'll start to pop up like a little more subtle in the background because it is a more chill flavor, which is why they use them a lot in brutes. Do you want to try this?
And I'm just drinking coffee.
I'll drink. We're in the transition from coffee to beer. That was fantastic. All right, next up. Surround Sound Double Dry Hop Double IPA with Citrus Inco and Galaxy 8.2%. That is a big guy. I've seen, like I said, I've seen a bunch of people. I hadn't seen anyone post number 7 actually, but I have seen people post Surround Sound quite a lot. Okay. It doesn't smell a ton from the... let me put that up here. Yes. Yeah, it's collective. I don't know, man. They're just... I'm really proud of them because they're... even to say the Life in the Clouds, the New England IPA, is what we call a shelfie, like a readily available beer of that style, which makes me really happy just because, like, I don't know, for those who are getting into haze in New England and stuff like that, some of those folks might not exactly be the type of people who are just zipping down to breweries to, like, pick up all the new stuff. So I think this is extra valuable for people who just want to be introduced, and they can go to a store. As long as they're handled properly, I think it's fantastic. And as long as they're kept fresh. I mentioned it before, but Left Field do that with Greenwood. They have their own delivery company as opposed to going through the LCBO warehouse. So they can actually control the amount of stock that goes out into the various stores and make sure that they don't have, like, old-ass products sitting on the shelf or whatever. Which is cool. All right. This does not appear like it's a collab or anything else. Dope art, as always. Nice little spaceship thing going on there. Yeah, alright. Yeah. Nice. Ton boozier than the number 7 there. Definitely getting that tropical vibes. Smooth and creamy, no bitterness. Easy drinker. Some might say drinkable. Just an 8. Yeah, it's like, this is just fantastic. I knew this was going to be bomb, so I was really excited to do these two. Yeah, so it's definitely, if you like the harder IPAs that are a little boozier, it's definitely more the one. Personally, I would lean more towards the 7. I like that sort of 6-7% range. 8% is dope too. Probably a little too boozy for my personal taste, but I'm sure this will mellow out a bit and you won't taste it so much. Next up, got to bust out this bad boy. BrewHeads opener, greatest opener in the game. Link in the bio for the description. I'm sorry for the details. We're gonna go Cider Town right now, ladies and gentlemen. So we did a podcast. When was it? Like, it was cold, I think. So probably earlier this year with Mike and Austin at Stowe Cider in Vermont, and it was my first real exposure to how amazing craft cider can be. So normally this type of thing just doesn't interest me, but only because, like, there is so much beer going. Like, I really don't need to worry about cider on top of that, but it just showed me how amazing this stuff can be. So this one, like I said, it's a Brett barrel-aged cider with blueberries and rosemary. Mate. Oh, yeah, what's ABV on this one? Sorry, I think it was like 7. 7 even. Get in here. Ooh, funky. Damn. That's amazing. So, like, if you didn't even know any different, I want to get all of the yeast in there. It kind of just tastes like a beer. It's got that the Brett coming through for sure. Barrel aged. Did it say bourbon or just barrel? Just said barrel. So it's a little oaky, I guess. Blueberries and rosemary. Rosemary is an interesting ingredient. I'm sure, once again, as this warms, the rosemary will come through. I'm sure it'll probably bring some grassy earthiness. The blueberries are a very soft fruit. in general. So the color, they nailed the color. It's fantastic. Yeah, like if you're gluten free, like if you're celiac or you just don't drink or consume gluten, this is the type of stuff, man. If I was on that, I'd be drinking this like a bitch. This is crazy. It's so approachable. 7% absolutely does not taste like it. Yeah, man. It's smooth, and it's almost tripping me out because it doesn't taste like a cider. And that was when we did the podcast with Stowe Cider. I didn't realize how close cider can be to beer at times. Particularly when you do things like barrel age them and then add adjuncts like these other fruits and things like that to that apple base. It's just so fascinating to me that it can just be this tasty. I'm really enjoying this. I still don't really, like I said, we're not really like reviewing them. They're on Untapped, which I find interesting, but I feel like I'm just so unqualified to review ciders. I don't even want to get into that game. It's a whole other thing. Fire. All right, last one, the big boy. Tiff, I hope you're not scared tonight.
You're never scared.
All right, I like your attitude. So, this fella, Origin of Darkness, collaborate effort with our friends from around the globe. So I assume, therefore, I have to look into it. I'm sorry for not being aware of that, folks. I'm sure y'all let me know in the comments, though, if I was incorrect. This looks dope. Bourbon barrel aged, stout, vanilla, sea salt, cocoa. Woof, mate. The thing I love about Collective Arts is that they do everything really well. I don't know if they specifically have a style that I would say they, like people say, oh, Collective Arts, they're good at that. Like, nah, they nail everything. I'm a huge fan. It's been really cool to see them grow over the years. Damn, this looks like tar, mate. All right. 11.5%. Look at that. That is glorious. I love these glasses. I don't know if I told you before, but I broke my second one. I was devastated. So I'm always like, mad. You should see me washing this at 3 in the morning, like after a few beers, like gingerly wiping the inside. Just nuts. Wicked Tan Head. Smells roasty and chocolatey. Yeah, then you. Oh wow. That's dangerous. That is so smooth. There was no hint of booze there at all. Vanilla I'm definitely getting. There's a lot of sweetness. Now the salt, maybe it'll come through as time goes on. I don't recall ever hearing about salt in a stout. Like I guess there's some sort of salted chocolate thing happening here. With the cocoa, I'm definitely getting a ton of chocolate. Very chocolatey, very smooth and rich. Bourbon is subtle, surprisingly. So maybe because it's young, and that sometimes those bourbon flavors come out as time goes on. This is great. I'm not surprised at all. This is so smooth. And this is a type of stout. Now I could drink these all the time. I'm really looking forward to this winter. I'm trying to get into the cellar a little bit more, and I've had a bunch of stouts in there that I've been wanting to get into. Finally, you guys know how it goes. Like, you just get beer and you're just like, oh yeah, I'll get to it, and put it aside, and then you get some other things that have use by dates or whatever, drink by dates, and then all of a sudden you have this pile of beer, and So, that is it, guys. Collective Arts are fire. If you're able to get your hands on any of these beers, whether it's through LCBO or bars, or head down to the brewery, please do yourself a favor. Super fire. Thank you guys for watching, mate. If you enjoyed the video, bam, smash the thumbs up. Hit subscribe below and hit the notification bell.
Ding.
So you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast, and check out the long form audio. As of right now, we have a whole bunch of great. We just wrapped up the Colorado podcast, and we're moving into some Quebec stuff, and then we got some Ontario stuff. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. So good times, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video, and as always, get it in ya.
Get in ya.
Let's get it freaking going.